Hey guys, Camfrey15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I am back, and I'm gonna change my stupid video because everything's all slow. Slow indeed. And yes, okay, back. It's not the video settings that I wanted to do, but it's probably because there's just so much stuff going on my laptop right now that's preventing the video HD camera from working, but whatever. HD camera will work next time, next episode review, but I'm here ready to talk Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online. Yes. The show that I've been putting off for many months that I probably should have reviewed when the show originally was coming out on a weekly basis, but I'm here talking Sword Art Online Gun Gale Online. Again, for people that don't know, yes, I have reviewed Sword Art Online before. I've reviewed all of season 3. All of season 3, not all of season 3, the back half of season 3 is on the channel. But other than that, you know, there hasn't really been Sword Art Online content outside of the movie reviews I've been doing of the recent movie reviews that have come out. Progressive, SAO Progressive, right? But this was a joy to see SAO return, but they brought back Sword Art Online Alternative. Now, for people that obviously don't understand what Sword Art Online Alternative is, it's basically kind of like a side story to the main story, like a very, very offshoot side story to Kirito and the gang's adventures they have with the main story. But this story revolves around Llenn, who is basically playing Gun Gale Online, and she goes through this tournament called the Squad Jam and everything. And yeah, but that's all season 1 content. I watched all of season 1 and I loved it when I first came across it. And I remember when this second season was announced, I was like, whoa, what? I'm happy that we got a second season for Gun Gale Online. It's good to see, you know, this game or this series, like, you know, it's really liked. And a lot of people, you know, they prefer the alternative Gun Gale Online series as opposed to the original anime series. There are a lot of people that actually say they like this show over, you know, that's over just the main SEO show. Now, obviously, I have no problems with the main original SAO show. You know, people have their issues and everything, but I do love this show. Like, you know, these characters, like, don't forget about these characters. These characters are very important too. So it's the thing. It's funny because these characters are also, well, Llenn and Fuka are in the newest, you know, Sword Art Online video game, which is Fractured Daydream. And Pito and M are actually going to be coming into the game as DLC characters. So that's me. And look, Llenn was one of my favorite characters to play as in Fractured Daydream because, well, it reminds me of the Gun Gale Online video game, actually, Fatal Bullet, because that's literally what their playstyle is. Their playstyle is exactly that game, with basically the skills and everything that the other sword characters have. But regardless, Gun Gale Online Season 2, when this show was first announced, I was like, really? It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do Season 2. But Season 2, just like with Season 1, they're having another Squad Jam. And I love how in this episode, you know, it's not exactly like one of those recap episodes. It's an episode that progresses the plot of where the story is going to be going. But at the same time, the anime gives like hints and tidbits to things that happened in the first season for viewers obviously who watched the first season but didn't want to probably go back and rewatch the first season. It's just bits and pieces where it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, I remember the part when, you know, Llenn had the whole rivalry with the Amazons and everything, and how it's kind of like they talked about how they wanted to have a rematch and everything in a fair fight with each other, everything, right? You know, and then they'd show bits and pieces of Llenn and Pito's fight from the first game. They obviously do, you know, the whole message that Llenn got in the first season after meeting Pito, saying like, I'm gonna kill you or something like that. And, if you don't beat me, then I'm gonna kill myself and everything. So, you get a lot of bits and pieces from the first season that they put in this first episode of season 2 that kind of somewhat refreshes your memory. Even now, still, even then, there's some things that I forgot from season 1 because it's been so long since I've seen the first season that is like, okay, I definitely need to go back and see how that ended up happening and everything. But there's nice bits and pieces and everything. But regardless, the episode starts off in the action where Lenn's just running away from all these characters trying to shoot at her. And she's just like, why am I doing this? You made me do this, Pito. And Pito's just like, oh, come on, Llenn. You don't be like that. This is going to be fun. Then just keep drawing them out and we'll take them out. Fuka, who obviously is very hilarious as a character because she's like, come on, Llenn. Don't you think this is fun? And then obviously you have the quiet, soft-spoken M, which is great, all together. But yes, look, Llenn is one of my favorite characters from the show. But I think Pito is probably my favorite character of Alternative because you don't know what to expect from Pito. Because Pito in the first season was absolutely like tripping balls, and she like went balls to the wall and everything. And the fact that it's like, come on, Llenn, I want you to kill me, otherwise I'm, if I end up winning, then I'm just going to kill myself because it's just all boring and everything, just to continuously win all these squad gyms and kill people, right? So yeah, and if you remember from the first season, Pito's main persona, she's like a very famous, like, I forgot, I think she's like a singer or an idol or something like that, from what I remember, right? She's a very famous, like, pop star, right? And she really wants to play games, but she can't do that because she's obviously famous, right? And then I also forgot how old she is. I forgot. No, I think she's I think she's a teen star. And all because we know Lenn's an adult and everything, but it's absolutely crazy. Like, we get one of the scenes where, she's driving in the limo because her butler essentially is M, right? And M is basically like, listen, you got this stuff you got to handle, and then after this you can go back into Gun Gale Online and play, because apparently after the events you have, there's a squad jam. And Pito's like, wait, there's a squad jam? Oh, we're entering this thing and everything. And then it was also funny because also in the scene, she's like, look, you better not be freaking joking around with me, otherwise I'm gonna freaking do something. And then she's literally like, also, I'm gonna freaking pull the plug on your pecker. Now, oh, I heard that. I was like, whoa. I'm like, girl, aren't you a little bit too young about that? If you guys don't know what a pecker is in regards to a male, well, let's just say it's the private area of a guy. She literally straight up told M, like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna rip that shit off. I'm just like, bruh, ain't no fucking way you just said that to your butler. And I'm just like, oh. I'm just like, bruh, Pito is crazy. She's not only crazy in real life, she takes it to even more of like a dial up. Like, she goes from 0 to 100 real quick when she's literally playing the game, right? So Llenn, Pito, and M all meet up in Gun Gale Online because Llenn got a message from Pito, and basically Pito's just like, oh, Llenn, I'm so great to see you again. It's been so long. And Llenn is like, I think you need to let me go, Pito. And even M's just like, you're choking her. And she's like, I don't care. I just love this little bundle of joy. She looks so adorable. Did you get a little bit talk? Again, it's absolutely funny, the relationship that Llenn and Pito have. It's weird because in the real world, Llenn is older than Pito. And you would think, okay, Llenn should be like the big sister to, Pito, because she's obviously the younger one and she's smaller than her. But no, Pito is honestly acting like she's the big sister, and Lenn's obviously the adorable little sister. Which, again, it's so funny how in real life, Llenn is super tall. She's like, I think she's like 6 foot, like 5 or something. She's like a tall, because I remember in the first season when I saw what she actually looked like, I was like, holy hell, like she's tall as shit. And she ended up choosing a small character. Um, and then it's funny because, Pito, she's kind of like a small character really in the real world, but in Gun Gale Online, she's relatively makes herself look like an adult tall character. So that's the whole thing. Anyways, she basically goats Llenn into basically entering into the squad jam, the third one. And essentially Llenn reluctantly agrees because Peter's like, well, listen, don't you remember? You can't run out of this. Like, you remember, you have the battle with the Amazons that you promised them you'd do. And Llenn is like, wait, how the hell did you know that? And Pito's like, oh, Fuka told me, right? And Lenn's just like, goddamn Fuka, why are you spilling secrets and everything? So, Pito's like, at first it's like, come on, I want you to go, we need to fight again, Llenn, because Pito wants to go up against like Llenn again because she had such a blast in the first season going up against Llenn. And Lenn's like, no, I am not fighting you again. I'll fight the Amazons, but I'm not fighting you again. I'm not going through that goddamn stress again. Because listen, if you guys obviously didn't see the first season for whatever reason, like Pito put Llenn through a whole lot of stress because that whole part was like I mentioned earlier, like Pito was legitimately said she was gonna kill herself if she ended up winning the squad jam again, and she's like, I want you, Llenn, to kill me, right? And that put a lot of stress on Llenn to try to like stay alive and get to Pito and end up defeating her so she could save Pito's life. Again, I forgot, it's been a while if she was actually gonna like legitimately kill herself. Or actually, I think the whole thing was the fact is, I think she had like the original SAO nerve gear on her head and she was playing with the nerve gear. And obviously Llenn knows, like, if you die with the nerve gear on, well then you die in real life, right? I think that's what it was. It's been a while. I'll have to, eventually at some point, I'll rewatch all of season 1 with the conjunction of going into season 2 again. So that's the whole thing. But she further goes and she's like, okay, then how about we team up? We will be the best squad out there. We could totally dominate the competition. And again, Llenn just reluctantly agrees, right? So then she ends up calling Fuka after like everything, and Fuka's like, oh, come on, Llenn, this is gonna be a fun time. Like, let's just do this thing. And Lenn's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go. And she's just, and then obviously Fuka's talking about her like freaking guns and everything, or her grenade launchers. And she's like, oh, my right Tanya, my left Tanya. I'm just like, oh yeah, this girl has like had an affection for her straight up freaking her straight up grenade launchers too. Which was another cool thing, is like they actually not only did like Fuka have an attachment, we also saw it in the first scene, like Llenn had a big attachment to her P90 gun, which you can use in COD. I use it several times. It gives me a nice amount of kills. But you got that whole thing. So, and then throughout the course of the episode, we just get other characters that we've seen in the first season. Like we see the little girls who basically are the Amazons, and the big, who in game they're the big girls because they're over here. Like Llenn is joining up in the next squad jam, and they're like, oh yeah, let's go, we can finally get revenge and beat her this time and everything, right? So you get that. You have a few other characters who had a nice major focus in season 1. You had it to where like the one green-haired girl, she makes the mention like, I'm gonna freaking join this thing so I can get rid of that fucking bitch that killed me because Pito killed her. Because if you remember from season 1, Pito was like going all the while. She was like making like several alliances and then turning their backs on people, and that like pissed legitimately like half these players off. Like half the players that you see in these game like opening in the squad jam, when they hear like, oh, these characters are joining up, oh wait, she's joining up, oh, I'm going back in there to get my revenge on her because she did me dirty, right? Like legitimately people hate Pito. They hated Pito. Like Pito was doing some crazy shit. Again, she is like one of the craziest anime characters ever, and that's probably the reason why I love her too, and why she's probably, if not my favorite character in the entire like alternative series, probably the entire like SAO game, because she legitimately did some shit in that first season where it was so balls to wall crazy. Like it's absolutely crazy. And then her character's way over the top. Like, she acts completely different in the game than she does in real life. And that's probably how her real life self actually acts. Because realistically, like, she's a freaking teenage girl, you know, that loves video games, right? I guess you could say, if you want to call her an otaku, I guess you can say that. But, like, it's like you're seeing her true self in the game. Like, because in the real world, and like shit, even in the ending, which the opening and the ending for this season was great. Like the ending, you see the ending because she's like a main part of the ending in her real life. She looks like so bored and so depressed about like her real life, but when she gets in the game world and she sees Llenn and everybody else, like her face lights up and it's like her true self. So, you know, I wonder at some point, does she like end up dropping, you know, being like a famous idol, and it's like, no, I just want to play games or something like that and everything. Now, obviously some background information. I watched, I think, up to episode 6 or 7, one of those 2 episodes, and after that I didn't watch the rest of the season. So once I get to that part, like, I'll be completely blind. But you just get a montage of all these characters, and you get some significances and some little homages or references from the last from the last season, where you're like, okay, there we go, right? So it basically leads into the squad jam, where all the teams and the groups are being revealed. They're like, oh yeah, well, let's go and put my money on them and everything. Uh, so that's the thing. It's funny, you know, when Pito shows up, they're like, "Oh my God, Pito!" And she's like, "Hey boys, what's up?" And you have this one random dude is like, "Oh my God, she looked at me." And dude, this other dude's like, "Bruh, she probably looking at you because she probably want to kill your ass, dude. She ain't looking at you like that." Which is absolutely hilarious. Like, there was another group of dudes who were like, "Oh, my Llenn is in this thing," and then the bartender's like, "Bruh, that ain't your Llenn, bruh. You don't own her." And I'm just like, God. I'm like, I remember, like, some people actually grew like legitimate like attachments to the point they're like obsessed with these people, right? So basically, the episode ends off in a way where they're basically getting prepared for their squad jam and everything. Pito's, you know, again, Llenn is like, I don't know if I should have done this and everything. And Pito's just like, oh, come on, Llenn. We're going to have a blast. And plus, you had to keep your promise to the Amazons. Like, it just makes sense. Listen, let's just have fun. Let's go out there. Let's go kill some people. And we can go win this thing. So that was absolutely hilarious. She's like, oh yeah, I also got you guys a present too. But it's morely for Fuga. It's like more grenade launchers. And Glenn's like, I thought you said this was that was gonna be a present for me. And Peter's just like, well, listen, you know, I wanted you to join. That's what I wanted to do. And Glenn's just like, uh. And it's funny because like before they, you know, get into the game and they're doing the hype, you know, Peter's just like, all right, we're gonna go up in here and I'm gonna kill all these suckers. And she just talks about how she's gonna kill more and more. And then you just see Lenn's face just start draining to the point she's like, huh? Because like there's one thing where it's like they did the whole one for all for one, right? Or all for one for all type of thing. And Beetle's like, all right, all for one and one for me. And Lenn's like, yeah. And you're like, wait, what? I'm just like, oh my goodness. And you just see the more Pito does this whole hype up thing, Llenn starts to get even more and more dejected. She's like, yeah, I'm not effing with this no more. I want to get out of here. And by then it's too little too late. They basically go into the world and the episode ends. It was funny. You know, it was a good start to see season 2 and a good refresher point. And it was also great to get introduced to these characters again that, for all intents and purposes, I forgot when the first season actually released, but it had to be like back like in the 2010s, at some point during 2010s, right? You know, I'll have to look that up at some point, but like it was good to see these characters come back, see Llenn just be like, I'm already sick of your shit, Pito. That's like she knows she's friends with Pito, but it's at the same time you can see like, oh no, she does not like to be around her too much because clearly Pito like gets on her damn nerves sometimes. So, and who knows? Maybe it's because to her, she's an adult and Pito's legitimately a teenage girl in what looks to be an adult woman's body, right? So that's the whole thing and everything. So yeah, but another also thing I forgot to mention, they do make a mention that there's gonna be like some, or Fuga makes mention like there's gonna be some sort of like special like change to the squad jam at some point during the match. So that's the thing. Now I know what it is, but obviously that was something that they had ominous right then and there. But regardless, a great episode, a great return for Sword Art Online Alternative and things like that. But yeah, but anyways, like I said in my channel update video, I said I would be reviewing this show, and again, like I said, I told you, we get in right to the point. So one episode down, a lot more to go, but we'll get through it. But anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Sword Art Online content, or any other anime content I upload to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, peace.